Well, today we're talking about doing things that you haven't done before. And we're really inviting people to think, on the next year, what have you always wanted to do, but you've been a bit reserved about doing? And this story comes, and it's actually an American story, and it's about this farm. And this farm is pretty good for the most part, but the one animal they don't have is a rooster. And do you know what roosters do? They do. And do you know what effect that has? What effect that has? It wakes everyone up because they do it at sunrise. Well, they didn't have a rooster, so guess what happened? Everyone just slept in. Now, the cat would sleep in anyway, because that's what cats do. I'm getting myself into trouble with cat lovers again. But the problem was the farmer would sleep in. And then he wouldn't get up to milk the cows. And then the cows, they wouldn't be awake. So they wouldn't get to eat the grass when it was nice and wet and juicy. They would get up later and they would be dried out. And the pigs wouldn't get up, so they'd be laying in the mud and just get extra mud. So the whole farm didn't really work. And then by the time everyone did get up, they were late. And do you know what happens when you're late? Have you seen it? You kind of rush around and get stressed out, and we all get a wee bit cranky. Who else gets cranky when they're late? I don't believe the rest of you. I don't think you're telling us the truth. Thank you, Izzy. Yeah, because we all, when we're stressed out and late, we get a bit cranky. And so they thought, we really need to get a rooster. But then, guess what happened? A new hen arrived with 4 chicks. And they were these little yellow, have you seen little chicks? They're kind of yellow and fluffy. They're very, very cute. And guess what? One of them was a boy. So a boy rooster, the one that crow, because the hens don't crow. So they said, so they rushed up to this little chick and said, can you crow? When he kind of looked at, I don't know. What does it mean to crow? And said, well, we make noises. And so the pig says, I'll show you. So the pig gets up there and says, oink, oink, oink. He goes, that's not quite how roosters sound, says the pig. And the rooster said, or the little chick said, I hope not. And then the cat said, well, I'll show you how it sounds. So the cat gets up. And what noise does cats make? Meow. And the rooster goes, I'm not making that noise. And so what are we going to do? But the rooster got older and older, and he was really worried because he was thinking, maybe people won't like me because I can't crow. And then the pig said to him, have you ever tried to crow? And the rooster says, no. He said, well, why don't you get up there and try? So by this time the chick had grown up, so it could fly up and got on top of the fence, got up on the fence, and it started to make a noise. And guess what noise it made? Excellent, Izzy. And it got louder and louder and louder. Thank you for showing me how. And so the thing got louder and louder. And then they thought, that'll wake me up. So the next morning, when sunrise came up, the rooster flew up to the fence and went. And the whole farm got up. And the farmer got up and milked the cows. The cows got up and ate the grass. And everyone was up doing the things except the cat. The cat just slept. because that's what cats do. But so, that's an example. But the one thing that gave the rooster confidence to do that, his friends wanted to help him do it. They even tried to demonstrate, however badly. And I think that's what we have to remember when we're trying to do something, that, it's like this community, we all want each other to succeed. So thank you, and just remember that when you're trying something new. There's lots of people who want you to succeed. And I don't think many people will ever laugh at us if we don't get it quite right. So thanks very much. We're not actually going to leave. You're going to stay here today because it's a water communion. So if you want, return to your seats. But it's lovely to see you all and welcome everyone. So thank you. Today for Water Communion, we are not going to be talking about where we were in the summer. We are not going to discuss where the water came from. But I do want you to think about the symbolism of water and how water shows many things. It shows a humility. Water is always going down. The one thing water can't do is go up. Remember, some of you who were here last week will maybe remember the story I told during the sermon about water trying to cross the desert. And to do that, it had to evaporate and get the wind to take it across the desert. Water can't go up. It can only go down. So there's a humility with water. And there's a harmony because it works with the nature that's around it. So we're going to invite you to do 3 separate things during the course of this service. I want you to think about a good experience of doing something you'd never done before and how that made you feel. And I want you to think about something you would like to do this coming year that you've never done before. And then the final thing is that thing that you've never done that you'd like to, where is the hesitancy coming from? So be thinking about those, and we'll have opportunities throughout the service to share each of those. But water is a powerful force of transformation. It's a force of purity. It's also, in many religious elements, a force of chaos. And we're going to be singing a hymn next time called Wade in the Water. And there's a couple of different theories about where that hymn comes from. The original idea comes from the Gospel of John, that God will trouble the waters to basically bring healing to people. But during the horrendous period in the United States where we had slavery, it's also believed it was a code song used by the Underground Railroad. Especially Harriet Tubman, a lot of people believe she would sing it to those. And we call them runaway slaves, but I don't like the term runaway. They're escaping from horrendous conditions. And they would sing Wade in the Water as a code to get off the trail into the water so the dogs could not follow the scent, because once they're in water they couldn't. So they believed this song was often used in the African American spiritual tradition for troubling the waters, but also used by the African American for the Underground Railroad to basically encourage people and give them more keys to escaping. As I mentioned, the idea of today's service is inviting us to try something new, and so we're going to do something that at least we haven't done in my time here at this congregation. I'm going to invite you to talk to each other during the service. So I want you to share and get into pairs. And for those of you online, we're going to put you, Kay is going to put you onto breakout room. And thank you, Kay, for being the Zoom manager today. She will put you into the breakout room. So you're going to get 4 minutes, so 2 minutes each. And I will call upon you after 2 minutes. And pick someone, and if you feel comfortable with someone you know, that's fine. If you'd prefer to talk to someone you don't know and they're agreeable to it, talk to them. You might need to move around. That is perfectly okay. So you're going to get 2 minutes and share what was a good experience of something that you did that you'd never done before, and how did it make you feel? So if you can find your partners, we can start talking. Well, you obviously had a lot to say about that. But it's also a lot easier to talk about the good experiences and the things that we haven't done for whatever reason. And I acknowledge that. So you probably noticed when you sat down, at least those of you in the sanctuary, that there was a little water drop here. Some of you may remember those from last year. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment and write down something you would like to do this coming year that you've never done before. Something, and for those of you online, if you want to, I've got the magic of my phone here, so I can see the chat. You can send it to me directly if you want to keep it private, or you can just type it into the chat, and I will be reading it later. And the ones that you're writing right now, when you come forward to bring your water for the water communion, if you could drop what you've written into the bowl, or the wooden bowl, the wooden plate, not the bowl with water in it. And Liz and I will be protecting that so that only water goes in there. The wooden ones are for these, and then Liz and I are going to read them later in the service, but we will read them anonymously. So you can write down what you would really like to do. And be thinking about what, because later we'll invite you to share what's been your hesitancy in doing it. So take a minute now and write it down. For those online, please either message me directly or type it into the chat and I will share it. That was not quite as easy. And I know one of the things that I'm hoping to do this year, and I've mentioned it to you before, and I've certainly talked to Dawn about it, was I want to be more comfortable singing in public. Because, you know, when I sing, I go off on a melodic adventure. And I enjoy it. I'm not sure anyone else does. And I always talk to my daughter, Isla, about all the great vocalists I like. I say, they're not really good singers, they're vocal stylists. So that's where I want to go. But I want to be confident in my vocal stylist. So that's what I'm going to be working on this coming year. And who knows, you might even hear me sometime. So invite those who have got water, or we've got water here. This is water from previous communions that's been boiled, so it's very clean. I boiled it very well, I think. I boiled it very well. So this is water from last communion. If you didn't bring water, you can come and pour a little of that into a communal bowl. Or you can bring water that you've brought with us. And if you want to bring your little drop with what you would like to try and do this coming year, then Liz and I will be reading it shortly after. We'd like to start at the back. And if those upstairs want to join us, you can come forward. If any of you are missing a water drop, we have some more up here. I can supply you with them. But if you want to, those upstairs and those in the back row, if you come down the side aisle, come, drop your water drop with your writings here, add your water to the bowl, and then return to your seat through the center aisle. Okay, got that? 1 year we'll get this right, I'm sure of it. And so, thank you. Thank you to all who came forward and all who shared. I'm going to start with reading the one I have from online, or the ones I have from online. Develop, and for the ones online, I will add water on their behalf. Develop healthier habits. You can start, Liz.
Talk to my neighbors more.
I want to talk to strangers in new places and familiar places.
Renew my teaching credential.
Learn and enjoy family recipes to honor connection to our ancestors.
Go on a week-long hike.
Regularly keep in meaningful contact with old friends and non-immediate family members.
River cruises.
Learn to make good gingerbread. Wish there was a name in that one. Fear of making bad gingerbread.
Try to repair a damaged relationship with a family member.
Visit a foreign country with the children.
This year, I want to apply for and interview for a job in the 21st century.
Go to cooking school.
Get a Spanish tutor and be more comfortable performing piano in public.
Sing in front of a group.
Learn to play pickleball and get good at it.
Ice hockey.
Ride horses on a regular basis and bake a yummy pie for our family.
Read a poem to the congregation.
Try out for a musical.
Skydiving. Go to Japan. Garden and light a candle.
Teach a TRX exercise class.
Have cataract surgery soon.
I wish to go on a personal retreat alone.
Scuba diving and water skiing.
Try voice lessons.
Communicate better with my partner.
I want to write a blog based on my experiences as a parent who cares about the future of our planet for my grandkids and all children.
Visit Mexico City.
Visit a state I've never been to, Oklahoma. See the site of the Tulsa Massacre.
Do a muscle up.
Grow more of my own food.
Learn enough to have a real Spanish conversation.
Join a campaign full-time for someone running for an elected position.
Top rope training.
Travel overseas and volunteer at an animal shelter.
Scooter and bike tricks.
Musical performance.
Invite more friends into our home. Be the first to reach out and invite people.
Teach, write a book.
Meet others with curiosity and acceptance, not cynicism.
Take my mom to Paris.
I would like to take a very active role in climate change efforts, not just as personal level, but systematically.
Travel to Europe alone and travel to Africa with a group of women.
Deeper, stronger, braver in the path I am already on. Trust that it will be okay.
Master dancing the tango.
Not sure.
I wish to sing a solo in a rehearsal with MWC. Masterworks Chorale. Thank you.
Begin a process to join with a known church in East Palo Alto to help raise funds for poverty in El Salvador.
Family trip to Snoqualmie, Washington.
See fjords of Norway and Sweden.
Retire.
Travel to Africa.
Real break a sweat, more than 10 minutes exercise 2 to 3 times a week.
Work through frustrating pain and accomplish a goal that previously I would give up.
Do some tutoring.
Take as long as I want to read.
Make a nature journal in pencil, pen, and watercolor.
Get better at saying no.
Pull away from school board in a positive way, trusting the chaos.
Go back to Japan.
Visit Yosemite.
Join a social active committee.
I would like to rent a camper van and go to Oregon in it.
I'd like to visit my friend in Minnesota. Never been there before.
Travel to Greece.
Win a tennis tournament.
Apply to graduate school for library science.
Think positively with hope and optimism.
Get a tattoo. Go surfing.
Pickleball. And this person demands that I read their name. Joanne McMahon.
Go to Sicily.
Want to plan something fun for me without considering the needs of other people.
Pot.
That's a good goal. Do something with this community outside of service.
You can read that. Couple counseling.
Find love.
I would like to learn to speak conversational Mandarin.
River trip in New Zealand.
I would like to travel to a country I've never been to before.
Go on a big trip by myself.
I would like to try teaching an adult education class at UUFRC.
To hug my cousin Maria one last time. Dance in the rain.
Find someone to go to the Sierras with.
Do you know what? Can you read it? Get good at?
I know, I don't either. Shit.
This is get good at ship. Like we can't quite read it, so I'm sorry. So. What's that? Ah, okay. Get good. Get good at shop and geometry. Ship and okay. Thank you, Nathan. So I struggled to read it. Thank you for all of those. I'm sure that when we heard them, a lot of them were like, oh, I'd like to do that too. There was a lot of really richness, and thank you. I mean, some are quite profound, some are really amusing, and you realize all of those desires are in this space at this time. And that's partly what makes this a sacred time and a sacred place. I'm just checking online again in case any have been added. There's another one been added. Start and sustain a centering practice such as journaling. Invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer, reflection, and blessing. Spirit of love and gratitude, spirit of adventure and courage. We come to this place through different paths, from different places, with different stories of struggle and hope, different experiences of hospitality and welcome. Yet each of us shares the desire to live a good life, an inspired life, a life of meaning and purpose. Spirit of love, we understand that loving one another is our divine call, and loving our world is a sacred duty. May we do this with humility putting others' needs on par with our own, putting loving kindness at the center of all our relationships, including with ourselves. Help us to be in harmony with the world as it is, as we seek to help it move towards that world which we desire. And let us remind ourselves to be truly open, to loving beyond people, to loving this planet that sustains us daily. Spirit of gratitude. We are thankful for this time together, for this gathering of sharing, connection, and support. May our water shared here remind us to appreciate all the connections we have with one another. Help us to acknowledge daily the great gift that our life is. And let us honor the full possibilities that our life offers us in this journey. Spirit of adventure. We know that life brings challenges, the unexpected and the unforeseen opportunities. May our waters remind us of the strength we have through our communion with one another. Help us to connect with our sense of creative power and adapt to this great gift of life, and let us take risks and try new things with resilience, joy, and a sense of excitement. Spirit of courage. Guide us in facing all that life offers. May we embrace the unknown and uncertain, knowing that we have within us each the capacity to grow and learn. Help us to reach further, go further, think further than we ever thought was possible for ourselves. And let us not limit ourselves in capacity to bring goodness, beauty, and kindness into this world. Blessed be and amen. I now invite those of you who wish to come forward and share briefly what's hindering you from taking that next step to what you professed you would like to do this coming year. Again, I'd like to start for upstairs and those at the back to come forward down the side, and please use the microphone. And then for those of you online, if you would like to type your name into the chat, I will call upon you and you can share directly, or type it into the chat and let me know that you would like me to share it. So I invite those who wish to come forward at this time to come forward and share. Thank you. Thank you for all those shared. And remember to connect, when you're thinking about the hindrances, connect with those good experiences you had. What allowed you to do something for the first time that was a good experience? If we can connect to our good experiences, it can sometimes help us cope with it. I know my hindrance is I don't like people to see me as incompetent and not good at something. Though I demonstrate it most Sundays that I'm incompetent, but singing, no, there's something, especially when it's something you'd really like to be good at and you're not. There's a kind of little bit pain there, so I think I need to overcome it because it's something I really desire. So I invite each of you to think, when you focus on what you really desire and what's the hindrance, I just need to wait till my desire gets stronger than my hindrance. And I realize what's blocking me is me. It's not that I think anyone here is going to mock me, it's me. And so I need to overcome that struggle within myself. And for those of you who are struggling with complexity or just a lack of time, I hear that. And If we can do anything at this congregation to help guide you through this, let us know. Because that's the purpose of religious community, to help each of us find more meaning and purpose, and really encourage us to take those risks, to do that transformation that we desire. Because if we transform ourselves, we can transform the world and bring that goodness, beauty, kindness, and justice into the world.